Welcome back. It is episode 113. I'm your host, Jacob Harris. This podcast is brought to you by Achievement Apex and Power Pit Rockingham. Today, I am joined by Dylan Hellreigel. Thank you for being here, man.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. We've met once at Capo States in person.
Yeah.
But we did a podcast when I first started.
Yeah, that was a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, episode 11.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
a big throwback.
It is a big throwback. And you were 125 kilos, maybe?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Not well.
Not well. So it's good. I feel like this is like the redemption podcast.
Yeah.
You feeling good?
I feel great.
This is good. Yeah. All right. What are you weighing in right now?
Weighed myself this morning at 157. So I'm hovering lighter than I would normally be compared to in a comp or something. But I feel a million times healthier being under 160 and arguably just as strong.
Yeah, well, you like the heaviest you've been is 170, is that right?
175. And that was literally a year ago before the breakthrough comp.
Jesus. And you would not have felt very good then.
It was rough.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But even now, 17 kilos lighter, I feel equally as strong and just healthier.
Yeah. So I mean, that's where, and I said this before, my biggest question is, like, how were you born? Were you a heavy child?
Yeah, I was actually born a month early and still weighed in 9.4 pounds.
Wow.
So big boy.
Yeah, massive. Okay, and so as a kid, were you a big kid?
I wouldn't say I was a big kid, but I was always the tallest in the class, even through high school.
Yeah. And so where did you have like the growth, did you have a growth spurt?
I don't think I had a growth spurt. I was just always tall. I mean, I was 6 foot when I was 12, and then I just kept growing an inch every year from then until, I kind of stopped growing when I was about 19, 20.
Did your mum do the thing whenever you were in public or you'd catch up with people where she'd like talk about how tall you were and how big her child was?
Yeah, even to this day, mum still does that.
Yeah. I mean, now you'd probably catch a lot more attention, but even then.
Yeah.
So 6 foot at 12 is insane. What did you weigh? Were you?
I wouldn't have a clue then. I think I was, when I played footy when I was about 15, I was weighing about 85 kilos then at probably 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, okay. And then you...
More of the athletic side of life.
Well, that's the photos I've seen.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, and then you got into bodybuilding first.
Got into bodybuilding when I was 18 and then did my first comp at 19.
As a bodybuilder?
Yeah.
Did you just tower over everyone?
Yes. On stage I was 100 kilos, but being 6'7", it just looked like nothing compared to the little guys who are still 20 kilos lighter. So... yeah. Figured then, all right, well, bodybuilding's not really for me, but I'll give it another crack. And then the second comp was when I was 21.
And how much did you weigh then?
114 and much leaner and much less natty.
Much less natty. Well, that's where, okay, so we've said 18. You were natural then?
Yeah.
When did you decide to jump on?
21.
Okay, did you do the worst cycle ever for the first one?
I think I did everything correct because I went through my coach who wasn't an idiot. And he's like, if you're going to do this, you're going to do it right. And I'm like, yep, this is exactly how I want to do it. I want to do it right. And it was just 1 meal test a week for the first 10 weeks, go from there. Wasn't like these guys who are doing, half a gram of train every week for their first cycle and fucking themselves up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it right.
Okay. Did you ever, after that, did you do it wrong?
No. I've always sought someone's advice to what I should do because the last thing you want to do is ruin yourself and, make things worse for the future.
Absolutely. And did you, it's hard to know in your head, did you imagine being this big?
Oh, God, no.
Never?
No. Because when I first started, when I first got on, I was still 115, 120-ish body weight. And I was like, you know what, I need to be bigger. I'm 6'7", I need to be bigger to appear bigger on stage. So that's when I started. I was like, cool, no worries. Got to 130 within 10 weeks. So I put on 15 kilos in 10 weeks on my first cycle, which was, I don't know how, but I did. And I think I've got some photos somewhere of it. But yeah, and then just realised that after that second comp, still being 114 kilos on stage and quite lean, still looked like nothing compared to the smaller guys who are 5'8", 5'9", and just built sideways.
And what kind of training were you doing? Like, obviously you were training like a bodybuilder, but had you already started, deadlifting, squatting heavy?
No, I'd always liked strength training and just being strong because who doesn't like having a bit of strength on their side, that little bit of ego boost for lifting the 1 rep max or whatnot. But I pretty much remember. I remember hitting my first 200 kilo bench before I was squatting 250 and deadlifting 250 because I'd rarely squat heavy and really deadlift heavy.
That's the broest shit ever.
Oh, tell me about
I
it.
love that. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
The real question is, I brought this up with Connor and Jack last time. How much could you bicep curl?
Strict or cheat?
I want both. I want both answers.
All right. Well, my cheat curl, I got up to 120, and that was a pretty big heave. I wish I had a video of that because it was ugly as shit.
It sounds like it would be.
Yeah, and I think probably strict curl, probably 75 maybe, and that would be recent. But I could probably do more now if I wanted to, but it's not really my thing.
75 though. That's impressive. Is that one rep?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And so, at what point you said you were 20? So around 21, you jumped on.
Yeah.
Before that, when did you decide like, nah, no bodybuilding? Was it straight after that comp?
Sort of. So after that comp, I got a new coach, and he was very much of the case like, if you want to get big, you got to lift big. And I was like, sweet, love the idea of that. So we did a few strength blocks back to back, and just kept putting on more weight on the bar. I got bigger, I got stronger, and I was like, okay, this is kind of fun. And it wasn't until I pulled my first 300 kilo deadlift, and it was just a what if, whatever, and god awful as well, hitched straps, all the rest. And then some bloke came up to me and was like, you should get into powerlifting. And I'm like, what's that? And then he's like, oh, it's this. And I looked it up a bit more. I was like, oh, yeah, it seems kind of cool. I think I'd do all right. And then I think it was 4 weeks from at some novice comp. He's like, you should just jump in. I'm like, well, all right, why not? I've got nothing else to do. And the owner of the gym at the time was like, yeah, we'll pay for it and all that. So, yeah, went into it. And that was the Mortal Kombat novice comp held in the Midland Power Fitness, I think.
Okay, yeah.
In 2017. And from there, I won that one with a 795 total, weighing 139, I think. So it was my first and only comp at under 140. And yeah, won that, and then it kind of took off from there.
And at this point, still just test?
No, I dived into like other compounds like DECA, EQ, Tren, all that sort of stuff. That was for the bodybuilding, and it kind of just carried over into the powerlifting.
So what, obviously you were advised to bring those things in.
Yeah.
What kind of experiences did you have with the heavier stuff? Obviously you'd only ran test and you were pretty big naturally anyway.
Well, I had done a few cycles in between the bodybuilding comp and the first powerlifting comp. There was about 18 months in between that, so I'd done 2 or 3 cycles in between. And it was always a very low, moderate sort of dose, or low dose compared to what guys do nowadays. But personally, I've never really had any major side effects from those sorts of compounds, like the typical, roid rage or whatnot, or this and that and the other. And I think I got pretty lucky in that regard, that I never really had any major issues with it.
How do you feel on it? Like some people, I know I speak to people who are like, I'm actually not a huge fan of like when I'm close to comp and I've got a lot of stuff in.
Well, I think regardless of what you're taking, coming up to a comp, when you're peaking, you feel like shit anyway, because you're moving huge weights. CNS is fried. So I really don't think it really matters all that much in that aspect. But like then again, if you're not sleeping right and not eating right, not hydrated, they'll play a pretty big factor in it as well.
Yeah, and then obviously if anything can happen, right? So it was big dogs that you had the issues.
Yeah, big dogs 4. But that's unrelated to any gear use. That was all purely just bad luck with getting a bug. Yeah. Because obviously, my partner at the time and my son got sick as well.
Okay. And so, but that was after the big, I guess it was the peak of what you've done so far. I'm sure there's more to come.
Hopefully.
But yeah, you were 23 when because the first time I ever remember watching it, it was, what's the thing on YouTube? You would have seen it. Strength Wars or something? Strength Central.
Oh, yeah.
Remember they used to do all the videos, and they do one where they've combined your stuff from, was it Pro Raw?
Yeah, Pro Raw 11 was where I did my best lifts.
Yeah, 900 and 1,000. Yeah. So you were 23 then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a month before my 24th birthday, so just snuck in for the junior total.
And so what, around that time, like you said, people are going to assume, oh, you're on more.
Yeah.
I would,
Yeah, it's fair to assume that, like, because you're lifting these massive weights or being this big, of course, you're going to assume, oh, this guy must be on heaps of gear. I was like, no, I was definitely on a good cycle, but I was still under 2 grams a week.
Altogether?
Altogether, including orals.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've known of guys cruising on less.
So have I, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And they look like shit too.
Yeah. There is a point of diminishing return, but people still try to find that point.
Well, not everyone can progressively overload like you can. Obviously, you doesn't sound like you've had too much of a down point, obviously, until all the stuff that happened recently.
Yeah.
But it sounds like from the age of when you started training, or even 18 upwards, you probably just kept getting stronger in every movement,
Well,
right?
when I took strength training seriously, between my first 300 kilo deadlift and 400 kilo deadlift was a year. And to go from my first, so my best squat at Pro Raw was 355, and then a year later was 455. So to add that amount of weight in a year, just by taking shit seriously. And there was no real difference in the drugs I was taking.
How much heavier were you?
7 kilos or 8 kilos body weight.
Yeah, wow. And so squatting specifically, you're squatting. This is where we've seen a couple issues over the last maybe 2 or 3 years. Your last comp was breakthrough, is that right?
Yeah.
And you had a mishap in prep before that.
Yeah. 3 weeks prior to that comp, I tore my quad up by the hip. It was nasty. Did not feel good at all.
No, it doesn't sound like it.
No, I couldn't walk for about 4 or 5 days after that, and don't know how I was able to even compete.
Yeah, well, you still pulled. I can't remember what you squatted. Maybe you still pulled 400.
I opened my squats with 370 just because I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get up with this weight, so I'll be conservative. My coach Tom said to do 400 because everything was moving really well, but I was like, I'd rather not risk it. So I opened with 370, flew up, tore it again on the bottom, but not enough to go fuck, but enough to not do a second attempt. And but yeah, still pulled 400 in that comp as well.
What did you bench?
232.5, and then I went for a 242.5 to get a PB on my third, and then my pec went.
Yeah, because best numbers are 455, 240, and 410.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that obviously being the comp where you're obviously coming back expecting to do more, you're training now are you still doing Zero Pro?
No.
So
I'm not doing any comps until next year.
Okay, which is, which one?
Likely Pro Raw or something mid-year. Not 100% sure because at the moment I've got a little niggle in my back which I've had since Big Dogs 4 when I dumped 400. Good times that was. But I've had a niggle since then in my back, and it's kind of just, I was able to push through it for breakthrough, and it's just kept coming back. So at the moment I'm rehabbing for the next 4 to 6 months before I make a call on a comp.
Okay. And was there at any point where you were doing the, is it Night at Moulder Street?
Yeah, that was the main one that I wanted to do because there's some good prize money up for grabs there. And I think a few bigger guys were meant to do it. Like I think Dan Bell was meant to come out for that one.
Same problem. I think he's doing rehab as well.
Yeah, he basically tore his glute off or something like that at his last comp.
That's not nice.
No.
Yeah. Okay. This is the thing, right, that keeps everyone from doing it, right? Because everyone's working hard and training and everything. It's always like an injury. Usually an injury. Oh my God, Jesus! Usually an injury. I can't even say it right now.
Injury?
I'm having a seizure currently. You know what I'm going to say,
Yep.
so just pretend I've said it. That seems to be a big problem
Yeah.
with a lot of the bigger guys, and
Yeah.
you've obviously had the similar issues. At what point do you think that we're pushing the limits beyond what human beings can really take?
Well, it's really hard to say of how far it can be taken. I mean, like everything can feel really good, and out of nowhere, it can just happen. So unless you're like recording every single thing you do every single day to track exactly what's going on, there's no real way to say like, okay, cool. If I keep doing this, then this is going to happen. All you can really do is just keep training and stay as perfect as you can be, or perfect as you can be in your training and everything else. Like everything has to go hand in hand. You know, your training, your hydration, your sleep, they're all equally as important as what you do in everyday life.
Has your training always been? Because I'm just going to flat out say that like I hear lots of things. So I've heard that at one point you used to not do a lot of accessories.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah. So like even to the point where I've heard that you possibly would walk into the gym and do a single on squats or something and then pretty much call it.
Yeah. But that's usually 6 weeks out sort of deal. And when you're squatting north of 450 in comp, your lead ups to that are going to be, from 6 race out, 400, 410, 420, 430, and so on. So it's a lot of weight.
So you stand by that method?
I don't like it. I'd rather have the idea of like, cool, I can hit this and then go do accessories. But I was a lazy lifter, and I think I got lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you do things like that now? Or
it's more of a play it by how you feel type deal. So if you've hit your top weight, hit your top sets, felt good, and you've got time, do your accessories. You shouldn't really neglect them. But at the same time, if you're feeling real shit, it's taking you 2 hours to get to that top set, and you just like absolutely run down, then just bail. Because you're not going to get any stronger by doing your accessories 4 weeks out from a comp. You can all you're really doing in a peak is trying to present the strongest version of yourself, and that's by peaking those weights and priming your body and priming your CNS to hit them at a specific time. Whereas if you're just like, I have to go hard all the time, that's where injuries come from.
Are you telling me that the bridge between not injuring yourself isn't 3 times 12 single leg extensions after your heavy squat?
Yeah. I mean, look, if you feel good for them, do them.
I don't know, man. I feel like you could have never torn that quad if you just, that 3 times 12 could have really saved.
Yeah, maybe even 3 times 15. Who knows?
Oh, let's settle down there. That's a bit too much volume now. Come on.
I can just get the pin like one lower. It should be sweet.
Do you even do 15s? Surely not.
So, sometimes.
Yeah.
Like if my program's like a 3x10, and I mean, I'm maxing out the weights on the pin loaded stuff anyway, so I may as well do a few more.
Is that annoying?
It's cool.
It's cool for your ego, but is there like machines you can't fit in?
Yeah, a lot of machines I just can't fit in.
Must piss you off.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It's weird, right? It's like a double. You're happy, but then you're like, it's annoying.
It's like, yes, I'm finally big enough. No, I can't get bigger.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Yeah. So, I mean, one thing you mentioned big dogs. And how many big dogs have you done? 2 or 3?
Just 2.
2.
Because there hasn't been one since Big Dogs 4. Because after that was COVID.
Yeah, because I was like, for me, it's not. That's probably the least one that I've like. The events that I've not kept up with as much, because to me, I came in late, so all of a sudden I've just got all this backlog to go through.
Yeah.
But you competed with a lot of bigger people, right? So,
yeah. Like, I was still one of the lighter guys at Big Dogs.
Yeah. So was it weirder for you to be around that?
It was kind of cool just being around. Like, okay, cool. Like, I'm not the tallest I was the tallest, but I'm not the biggest guy here. But I can still keep up with them in like terms of squats and deadlifts. My bench is garbage, so I won't talk about that. But knowing like all these other guys that had experience, like Eric Litterbridge, Peter Petras, and Sean O'Doyle, all those guys, they've been doing it much longer than I had, and even Yuri Belkin as well, hitting these massive numbers have just got these huge names, and it's just really, really cool to be like, oh, cool, I'm with these guys. Holy shit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you say your bench is trash, but I think 240s. It's just more in comparison to your other lifts.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying. Like, 240 is a cool bench, but like when you're competing at this level with these guys and you're the first one to bench, it's like, all right, cool. Might need to work on some stuff here.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's the goal after? Let's say that we've got thoughts besides rehab. We've kind of had this conversation. I've messaged you about it, but I'm just like, okay, Dylan's massive. He's a heavy dude. You've had massive numbers. Besides the injury stuff, I'm just like 1,200 is where it should be. I feel like if anyone's body can handle 1,200 as a total, I feel like it would be yours much more so over someone who's shorter and smaller.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you look at all the strongmen who are all around my height, even taller, and just huge guys moving huge weights and in a weird way as well. You'd think that someone like them would be good for a static sport such as powerlifting, which is where I like to think, okay, cool, I'm as big as these guys, or can be as big as these guys, and I'm pretty decent at powerlifting. Maybe I could be the one to do it. And there's no rush for it. I've got plenty of time left in the sport. I've got no desire to stop ever. I mean, like, you look at guys like Joe Whitaker. He's 40 or in his 40s. Odell, he was in his 40s when he hit his big total at Big Dogs. So there's still plenty of time for me to hit my goals. And
absolutely.
To hit these big numbers. So
how old are you now?
Only 28.
Yeah. You've got plenty of time, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, random total side note question. I remember when I was like 20, I mean like 22, and I like started at Smith's. Troy.
Yeah, Troy Abbott?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys, did you do like your cert together or
something?
something?
We did cert 3 and 4 together at AIF.
Yeah.
When I was 19, I think.
Wow, okay. So he mentioned it to me. And I remember, he just said it was cool to be kind of like not learning how to deadlift, but like sort of aside you. And then he was just like, obviously he's done well in powerlifting. He's a lot of weight class, but it's funny to see you back then to where you are now.
Yeah.
There must have been a lot of people that kind of really couldn't believe it, especially family members, because it did happen in such a short period of time. You're saying that 21 was your second bodybuilding comp, and then 23 you were at Pro Raw. So much happened since then. How did your family and friends and everyone react? I mean, you had a partner at the time. How did people react? Were they not like, dude, how are you getting so big so quickly? This is insane.
I can't even answer it myself. I have no idea how it happened.
No.
I just kind of was like, oh, this is what I want to do. Just keep going until I can't, sort of deal.
Yeah, okay.
And then obviously life got in the way with sickness, COVID, all the rest. So you kind of had to put a pin in it real quick. But look, it sucks at the same time as well, because in the lead up to, from Pro Raw 11 up to Big Dogs 4, I was like, this is good. I'm on track to get the world record total. I'm going to beat Andre's total at this next comp. I've got 7 months to prepare for it. And things were going well. I smoked some big weights in the gym like it was nothing. And then, life had other plans, which is whatever, you know.
Like you said, you got time.
Yeah.
So
it's not like it's like, oh, this is my last comp, I have to do it now. It's like, cool, I'm only 24, I can do this.
Yeah.
But then everything else got in the way, and it is what it is. You know, you just kind of got to roll with the punches sometimes and control the things you can control.
It's a good attitude to have.
Yeah, well, there's no point in dwelling on things that, you know, like, oh, what if this happened? So, well, it didn't, so, you know.
Yeah, you can't focus on it. I do have a question about training. I'd like to go into some training stuff. We talked about how you built back up, obviously, before from where you were. I think you were 124, I remember mentioning in the podcast, and obviously you've just said where you're at now. You do a shitload of volume, right, which would make sense.
Yeah. I've taken back the volume for the main stuff now, just because, like, from a technique standpoint, technique is decent enough where it's like I need to do 4,000 reps at that, especially with the weight I want to be moving. So it's not the main focus, but the focus is to get a lot of load to the body. And when you're a big guy, you can't squat 400 4 times a week, and 400 in one session a bunch of times and not come out the other end and going, oh, I feel great, and do that week in, week out. So sometimes you've got to put all of that work into some heavier accessories where the CNS load isn't as extreme. Sort of like, if you do a big heavy squat, do it for 1 set or 2 sets, maybe not 4 or 5. And then, the accessories of like, RDLs or leg press or hack squat or whatever, load those up because they're nowhere near as taxing on the CNS, but you can still get a lot of load through the joints and through the body.
Yeah, I just remember seeing a lot of like 6x8, 8x6 shit.
Yeah.
And that was maybe not long after we'd spoken. And it'd be the kind of thing where I'd have to like read it again.
Yeah. Like, it's great if you're doing like 45 to 60% range.
Yeah.
Like, no worries, because it's like, it's not that brutal. But as you get to the heavier end of stuff, it gets a bit pretty full on.
So you've never run the 10x10 German volume program?
God, no.
Can only imagine.
Like the most I've done is 7x5 at 300 for squats. And I was pretty proud of that. But that was a long time ago. And then I tore my adductor the week after. So don't do it.
Sounds like not a great, but then once again, 3 times 12 leg extensions could have really saved you there. So.
Yeah, well, fuck.
Yeah, next time.
Yeah, you live and learn.
Live and learn. Yeah. Max out the hip machine.
That's it.
Yeah. So you squat high a lot in training.
Yeah.
And I know that you've mentioned, I'm pretty sure I've seen you even talk about it on your stories, that you generally do that because then you'll just squat deeper at comp or on your top set. Yeah,
well, the thing is, I don't like the idea of going like, oh yeah, I'll just squat however I want in training and then hope for the best on the day. It like, if I'm in wraps, finding depth is hard. If I'm in sleeves, I'll always hit depth. But if I'm in wraps or any kind of wraps, it's just hard to figure it out for the first few weeks that you're in them. But in the case of a comp prep, when I got tight wraps on, and I genuinely need a fair bit of weight just to push me down because I got a lot of leg in the way, a lot of hamstring. So it's kind of like all this shit bunching up behind my knee. Where am I, sort of deal? But and then as well, because of the size of my legs and my proportions and stuff, it's really hard to tell where my depth is on a video. Like my recent heavy squat from a few weeks ago, I squatted 370. It's from a front view of the camera, and it looks high as shit, like looks real high. But I had 2 guys either side, and they're like, "No, it's fine." So it's one of those deals as well where it's like, yeah, you gotta be there to really make the call, and especially if you've got a camera from behind, that's always going to look much higher than it would as if you were on the side or where a judge should be.
Like you said, it's a when you're bigger anyway. It's like all the big guys.
Yeah, like you look at Ray Williams. Have you ever seen him squat to depth in training? He's always a few inches higher. But in comp in IPF as well, he always gets it.
Yeah, the 490 was sweet.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
It was a good squat.
Yeah, probably that's the best squat of all time in my opinion.
I put it up there. You don't think lads?
Well, Ray did it in sleeves, walked out with a noodle bar.
Yeah, but it's interesting to hear that from yourself, right? Because anyone who's in like wraps on squat bars are like, fuck sleeves and power bars. That's sort of.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, fuck sleeves and power bar, but to be able to do it and squat 490 with all the things against you, yeah, hell yeah, that's phenomenal.
What do you think about the fact that he hasn't done anything close since?
Well, I think he got sick as well at some point or injured.
I think he did.
Because there's a little bit of stuff on his Instagram saying he's injured or doing rehab or whatnot. I haven't really dived into it too much or know too much, but I think something happened somewhere.
Possibly off cycle.
Possibly.
I have to. We did mention this beforehand.
Yeah.
And we were under the impression that a lot of drug tested lifters are definitely not drug free.
Yeah. You'd have to be ignorant to say that, these guys at Big Dogs are on drugs, but the equally sized guys at IPF aren't on something. I mean, lifting the same numbers in on paper, harder situations. So, I mean, no one really knows except for them. And I'd love to say, yes, they actually are drug free, but it's like, with all the variables placed in front of you, what do you really think?
Well, genetics are a huge part anyway, so we're not disputing that they have a massive part of it.
Oh, of course not. Like, they're definitely really strong guys, regardless. Like, they could be taking 10 grams of gear. I don't give a shit, but they're still moving the weight. But to really think they've done it just like, hard training and good diet. If you really think that's it? Probably not.
What do you, as someone who's gained a lot of weight and had to obviously eat a lot of food, what do you eat? What did you eat to get as big as you did?
Well, in saying that, I don't actually eat that much. I eat between 3,000 and 3,500 calories a day and just somehow can get big.
See, you can understand this is where
people go, he's on a shit ton of gear. Like, of course, it fucking helps, but I'm not on that much.
Yeah, but you never thought that maybe there was a period where you were eating more than you thought?
Don't think so. Maybe like in the lead up to Pro Raw Big Dogs when I was just like whatever I can eat, I'll just put in. But even then, I get full pretty quickly. I don't have a huge appetite. So maybe on some days up to 5,000 calories, but consistently, as an average, I'd say 3.5 to maybe 4.
That's interesting. You'd think you would need so much to run everything you've got.
Yeah. Right? It's 5 o'clock now, or 4:15 now. I've had one meal today.
This morning?
Yeah.
You're not hungry?
Not at all.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that not annoying? Do you not
I mean, it's good because I don't have to eat all this food to be big and strong, but it's I like food.
Don't you feel better when you eat more though?
Not really, no.
No? You don't train better? Like you wouldn't wake up tomorrow and have a better session because you ate more the day before?
No, I mean, for example, yesterday, hit a PB on bench, 200 for 5 reps, which is all-time best. And I didn't have dinner because I just wasn't feeling it. I didn't have breakfast because I didn't have time and still did that. So, I mean, that's where genetics play a big part in it as well. They definitely help. And it's not like you have to follow these guides to get these results. It's like there are little bits outside the ballpark that you can go by.
So training as another part of being different. Couple of controversial ones that came up, and I don't know if you put this on your story once, but I do remember something revolved around you saying that power or speed work doesn't have a carryover to strength training.
Not really, no.
You understand why that may be,
of course,
ruffled some feathers?
But if you look at the guys who did West Side and stuff, they just loved speed work. Mm-hmm. And was it good? Did it work? Yeah, it did, but there are much better methods that you could use. Simple stuff is tempo work or band work. It's just trying to make it harder than the main lift. That's all you're really doing. But you see some guys who are lifting 3x3 at 70%, calling it speed work, and they're not moving any faster. Speed work is from 40%.
So what's the argument for maybe just a sport like Olympic weightlifting that is pretty much the combination of the two?
Well, that's where it plays in, where it can count, because you've got to get to that movement quickly. Whereas powerlifting, if you're squatting, you're not trying to go from up to down to up as fast as humanly possible. You're just trying to get that hit depth, come back up. Whereas, a sport like weightlifting, you have to snap through that movement quickly and get to that movement quickly. Otherwise, you're going to eat shit.
So you're only being specific about powerlifting?
Yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know enough about other sports to really have my own opinion on it, but from my experience, and I've attempted speed work for a few blocks before I got into seriously powerlifting. It's just not as good as it says it can be for powerlifting.
Yeah, I have one or two close friends that brought it up, and I said that if I ever spoke to you again, I was going to bring it up because they do a lot of speed work and they're passionate about it.
But the thing is, though, is like if speed work is so good, what are your numbers? What are they doing, sort of deal as well? Like, is it the be all end all? Could you do something else and it be better?
I feel like the fundamentals are always going to be better, right? Like it's like these days, a lot of people will always be like, "Oh, this bench accessory or this," and it's like, getting better at squatting is always going to be like squatting.
Well, the thing is as well is it really drives me insane, and a lot of people that I've spoken to, like who are smart, agree with me on this, is that you don't need to overcomplicate your lifting. If you can do the basics good, then good, do them better. But you don't need to add in all this extra shit just to go like, oh yeah, look, I've done all this and this is why I'm doing this. It's like, no, just do the basics better. Basic is best. You could squat, leg press, leg extension, and and your squat could improve. Simple as that. You don't need to add in all this other stuff to be all fancy and be the next big thing online or whatnot. Or like, oh, I'm this coach and I advocate for all of this. So this is why I'm the best. So no, just do a basic plan, execute it well, repeat, do it better.
So when you do a lat pull down, you don't instead do one arm cable kneeling ones where you tuck at the end of it. You don't do those.
It's like when you see guys who are doing like, the T-bar row that you put in the floor and row with that. Mm-hmm. You see guys put the V-bar around it. That's how you're meant to do it. And you see other guys will get the V-bar and then put the lat pull-down bar in between it and then do that. It's like, what are you doing? Just do a barbell row. You don't need to overcomplicate these movements just because they're doing the same thing.
What about the argument that they're not doing the same thing because the range of motion is different?
Well, then it's not really. Because all you're really doing is just making this one particular movement overcomplicated just because you can.
But like, for instance, with a V-bar, you are limited because of where it stops.
Of course, yeah. But if you put the same thing with your hands slightly wider, then why couldn't you do that on a barbell row? Why do you have to steal two pieces of equipment that someone else has to use?
I see what you're saying, like using equipment for like the wrong thing.
Yeah. Or like someone using a belt squat for barbell rows.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, some guys will hook up the lat pull down bar and do some rows on that. It's like, yeah, cool, it works, but does it really work better than the other thing? Or just a simple cable row?
So what do you think about optimal training and that being like a massive thing that's coming in now, right? Where people are talking about, I mean, you did bodybuilding at one point, you're a coach yourself, even though you primarily focus on powerlifting, hypertrophy is something you still obviously would do with a lot of clients and yourself. Yeah. What do you think about this kind of like barbell, get on a hack squat instead, pendulum squats, like all that stuff being kind of better?
Well, look, they have their place. That's why they're invented. Mm-hmm. But like, say for example, if you're a bodybuilder and your only purpose is to get bigger legs or be a bodybuilder, then do you need squats, like barbell squats? Probably not. But something like a leg press or a hack squat or a pendulum squat would do the job quite well. But if you're a powerlifter, then that's where you have to back squat, and you will grow your legs from that as well.
Speaking of a hack squat or a pendulum squat, can you fit in any of them?
Yes, but barely.
I'd be curious what your hack squat like PR would be if you just put all the plates on. Because I know people who can do 10 plates and they're much smaller than you. Yeah. You would run out of space, I think.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at our last gym, I put on the calibrated plates just for room.
Oh my God, that's when you're really getting bad, isn't it? Jesus, wow.
But, when you look at commercial gyms and their plates are this thick, it's like, cool.
Gold's is pretty bad, like the chasing better plates, the 25s are like, I can't.
Oh, the big thick bumpers?
Yeah, the red 25s are probably the size of like 4 calibrated reds. Yeah. And you're like 100 kilos versus 25. Ugh, it's very
frustrating. It looks cool on the bar and it's maxed out, but.
Yeah, it's not really ideal. But we're going to quickly before we move on, because we've been talking about hydration, we're going to use that. I'm going to have some water. Would you like some?
Absolutely.
This is water. I'm never going to get sponsored by these guys because they've got like snowboarders with like 4 million followers doing it. But Thirst Trap, this camera is the one I'm going to be. Thirst Trap right here. It's just water, but I would like to see what you think. I think maybe it's because it's in a can, but I feel like it's more hydrating than normal. Let's see what Dylan thinks.
I need some high quality H2O.
Right?
That's not bad.
I feel like Adam Sandler would be real proud. You know what I mean? He would be like, that's the good shit.
That is quite refreshing.
I just feel, I don't know, does it taste better? It's like a placebo thing, but I don't know. Either way.
Yeah, it tastes better than out of a plastic bottle, that's for sure.
See? Like, if you sponsor the podcast Thirst Trap, we can have some of the highest grade athletes drinking your water. You know what I mean? And if Dylan's hydrated, he's totaling 1,200, all right? There's absolute guarantee. So,
doubt.
I have to ask about bench pressing. Did you know that lifting your head off the bench is wrong?
Yes.
Has anyone told you that?
It's absolutely wrong. Should be illegal. That's why it is in the IPF.
Uh-huh. Why do you do it?
Just feels more comfortable.
Yeah?
Yeah. Plus, I like to see where I put in the bar.
Sometimes you just aren't sure?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I've been doing it enough to know where I'm going with it, but it's always like, am I actually? So if I'm like this, kind of like, all right, where are we? Where are we going? Yeah, it's just like...
You've got a lot of mass. You could put it in the wrong spot.
Yeah, well, the thing is as well, if it's allowed in the comp, why not do it? It's like sumo deadlifting. Of course, people don't like it, but it's legal, so do it.
Now, have you thought about doing it?
Hips won't say yes.
You'd be one of those like the knees real in.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I'd tear a quad or an ACL trying to attempt it.
It's a shame. I reckon you'd pull 600.
Yeah, well, look, maybe another life.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe if you just did some like extended glute warm ups for 30 minutes before you work out.
Just some glute activation drills.
Yeah. How do you feel about them?
I'll give them a go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you when you do training yourself? Do you do a lot of warming up in that regard?
Not necessarily. It's more so just like opening up for a squat or whatnot. It's just like opening up the hips and the hip flexors and just kind of get moving a little bit, and then it's just reps under the bar and just getting some blood moving around, like being warm and just limber, really.
Yeah.
Don't need to overcomplicate it. Like, unless you have an injury or a specific reason to do certain movements, then just do the basics.
Interesting. Talking about basics, a lot of exercises are like demonized now. So I want to talk a little bit about it because you're a coach, which people would be aware of. But if you aren't aware of, is it Hellraiser Strength?
Yeah.
On Instagram, if you want to get coached by Dylan. Maybe you're 175 kilos and you're really dehydrated and you need the direction, hit up the man Dylan. Even if you're not 175 kilos, that's not his only demographic.
It's 175 and above, actually.
Yeah, well, sorry, 175. Yeah, if you aren't 445 pounds, that's 200 kilos, right?
440.
440?
Yeah.
Don't even DM him.
No.
Not interested. Yeah. So, like, with coaching, obviously we talked about exercise and you're saying don't overcomplicate it. Is there anything, a lot of the old stuff's getting like demonized now, right? Like even Benever Rose, people like don't do them because it fatigues your lower back, all this sort of stuff. Is there an exercise that you just wouldn't ever give anyone? Not because you think it's totally shit, but you just never program.
Honestly, nothing on the top of my head.
No?
No, because I always program to do the basics well. And then if they're like, oh, how am I doing this? Like, then I'll show them how to do it correctly. Like, anyone can fuck up a lateral raise, like shoulder lateral raise. But it's like, okay, this is how I want you to do it. And then you're doing it right.
Yeah.
But there's nothing specific I can just think off the top of my head that you shouldn't be doing. Like, at the end of the day, every movement has their own purpose. And if you can do it right and do it well, it can be executed and you could get the right results from them. But if it's too overcomplicated, you're more than likely to fuck it up. That's why basic is best.
So what about a movement that you find yourself including in most people's programs? Even though everyone's individuals, is there like an exercise that's not a squat, bench, or deadlift that you just love?
Say for bench press, I like to add in JM press, which is basically a skull crusher in between a close grip bench press. Mm-hmm. It's great for triceps. It's a great carryover to bench. And it is a bit complicated, but I kind of program that for my competitive lifters who are, competing at a decent-ish level. Right? I wouldn't just go like, oh, have you competed before? No, here, have this and hope for the best. It's like if you've, it is a specific movement to powerlifting and benching, so it does get a bit more specific in that regard.
Do you lift your head off the bench when you do it?
Yes. I don't think my head ever touches the bench.
Ever?
No.
Even when you lay down?
No, I actively avoid it.
When you go to sleep at night, you just like this all night?
Just straight up.
You must have the strongest traps on the planet.
I do.
Yeah, absolutely. Never even trained them.
No.
Love it.
No direct trap work.
I mean, that's not too surprising. I do have to ask, every time I speak to a powerlifter, I forget just how narcissistic everyone is, and they mainly care about their own total. So I speak to heaps of people and go, who's your favourite lifter? And they go, don't really have one. Do you have one?
Probably back in the day, Brandon Allen.
Oh, yeah. Is it Brandon Allen? Have I got it?
Big,
I think
big beard. Big.
Is he Instagram? What's it?
I can't remember his Instagram. He's changed it a few times.
Is it the Das?
That's
not Brandon Allen.
No.
I think I always get them mixed up for some reason.
Yeah. Brandon has all the tattoos and stuff. He does arm wrestling now.
Oh, really?
He tore his quad pretty badly, and then he had a motorbike accident not too long after that. So that's what kind of threw him out of powerlifting. But he lost the American Pro, I think it was, to Larry Wheels or Yuri Belkin, I think it was, back in 2018 or 2019. Pulling his third deadlift, I think he was going to walk away like 50 grand or something if he'd got it, and then just missed at the top. But I met him for the first time after we chatted a few times at Big Dogs 3, and just a super cool dude, but and built like a fridge.
Very strong.
Yeah.
I will have to look up some of his best lifts.
Yeah, I think he went 11:02.5. And it was funny as well because just before he did that, everyone on Instagram was giving him shit for bagging out Thor and him doing his first big powerlifting comp. And then Thor went 1100 just under Brandon's, and then Brandon was like, yep, cool.
Yeah.
So that was kind of funny.
I was surprised by that because Thor squatted like 460 or something, didn't he?
Yeah, but he got called high.
Yeah, but it's just because he's got big legs. It was deep enough.
Actually, that was the same ref who gave me reds on the front from that breakthrough. Because of WRPF, yeah.
So it's just that ref then?
Yeah.
It's always the refs.
Yeah.
How dare they dedicate their whole day to that?
How dare they give me a red light?
Oh, my God. So, obviously the plan is possibly Pro Roll next year, like you've mentioned. You've got a bit of rehab ahead of you. I don't think... Have you ever done anything not free lift? Have you ever done a bench or a deadlift comp?
No.
Would you ever do that?
I'd like to do a push-pull, maybe.
That'd be cool.
But, yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty good squatter. So I like to kind of have all three at once.
They need to do like a squat bench comp. Or a squat deadlift comp would be your ideal.
Yeah.
You would kill it. I'm interested to see what happens. And I guess one of my other big questions are the health implications side of things.
Yeah.
We talk about you being big because it's cool. You like it. It's an ongoing thing. I see a lot of your stuff on Instagram. It's always about how much bigger you are than people. It's funny, right? But I have to get a little serious and ask the question of like, I've never seen anyone 160 kilos at the age of 70. Is it something that you would try to decrease as you get older?
Oh, absolutely.
From that step, for your kids, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, I want to stay in powerlifting for as long as I can. You see some of these guys who are in their 40s still lifting some big weights. I think I could probably maintain my size, give or take a few, for another 10, 12 years or so. And then when I'm kind of getting the end of the career and it's like, okay, I need to bring this down a bit and be healthy. And even at my height, I could probably still be pretty healthy around 125, 130 and in good shape.
And by that point, obviously a lot more muscle mass.
Yeah. But even then though, if I decide that's it, then there's no point to being big. It's mainly about health. I mean, it's always about health. I mean, as big powerlifters, we kind of try and push the agenda of how far can we go while still being healthy. And a lot of the young guys kind of just forget the healthy part. I definitely did. So, yeah, now my focus is on being healthy as well as being as big and strong as I can. Because they do go hand in hand. If you're healthy, then you can perform better.
And you get bloods done regularly?
Yeah.
How regularly?
Got one due this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were your last ones that you got good?
Yeah.
You don't ever have any issues with things like blood pressure or anything like that?
Blood pressure is usually on the higher side of good, but that's just me being big and probably not having the right size cuff. But, I mean, it's I mean, every time I go to the doctor and they check my blood pressure, they're like, okay. So I'm not really concerned about that.
Yeah. And do you have sleep apnea?
Yeah.
You have to use a machine?
Yeah.
What's it like?
Amazing.
Is it really?
You sleep so good.
Yeah, but see, you're like bigger, so it's like, you've probably got sleep apnea, where to me, obviously just a kind of, I'm maybe slightly bigger than an average person, obviously, because I guess maybe for my height and weight, I think I'm meant to be like 85 kilos, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm at 100 kilos is like not the greatest, but like I just can't drop below it from like maybe like a food eating disorder kind of perspective. I have to be this big, even though I'm not big. But I think I have issues with it, mainly from like mouth breathing.
Yeah.
And so it's something I'm looking into, and I'm going to be getting a test for it. Does it really make that big of a difference?
Oh, big time.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because like before I got tested, I thought I was sleeping just fine. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm still getting 8 hours, 8, 9, 10 hours. But I still feel tired. So I was like, oh, well, maybe there's something up. And then snoring comes into it as well. But like, if you're getting up during the night, take a piss or whatever, then you've probably got something underlying. Or if you're waking up choking or something, I've had plenty of mates go like, oh, what did you do to get your sleep test? I'm having these problems. I'm like, yeah, just go to the GP and get it sorted, man. It's and like I've known guys who are 75, 80 kilos who are still got the same issues. And it's either you're either really big or you've just got some sort of genetic trait where you've got a thicker neck and it just closes on you when you're sleeping. So you don't have to be big to have it. It can be just luck of the draw.
So you thought you were sleeping fine. Do you ever have nightmares about being small?
All the time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And then you wake up and you're like, oh, thank God.
I'm like, oh, fuck, oh, no, we're good.
Jesus, all right, cool.
Yeah.
This is a 7XL, I'm fine.
Yeah, pretty much.
What is it? What is it?
This is a 4.
And that's like a tight shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is not made in China.
It's not made in China?
No, so it's not the Chinese 4XL.
Is it like Mr. Big from like the big
No,
section?
it's live large.
Oh, so it's like you specifically ordered it knowing...
Well, yeah, these guys gave it to me after Pro Raw.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of like sponsorship from that perspective?
Not necessarily. It was more so like, oh, you've done well. Here you go, have this. I'm like, oh, sweet.
I would take anything.
Yeah. And it's something that fits, so it's like, I'm absolutely saying yes to that.
Yeah, and it's free,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like at this point, you just, whatever level you're at, you just need to be willing to take whatever comes your way, especially if it's a thirst trap sponsorship. I'm just going to mention that one more time and look directly into the camera. I do have to ask about the OnlyFans.
Yep.
Where did that idea come from?
No idea. It was just kind of like, fuck it, why not?
Yeah?
Yeah. Because, like, I mean, everyone kind of has the creepers in their DMs every now and then.
I'd love to hear the weirdest message you've ever had.
There was this guy last year. I have no idea his name or who he was, but he sent me a dick pic, and I'm like, "Cool, thanks, bro." Nice thumb.
Was it? So it wasn't a nice dick.
Nah,
That sucks.
I was like, "Bro, if you're gonna send me a dick pic, let's be good."
Yeah, yeah. Like good lighting, good angles.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, please don't tell anyone. My brother follows you." And I'm like, "I'm just gonna delete you, bro. Sorry."
I appreciate you not mentioning my name. So is that? I'm assuming that's not the only one.
No, there's a bunch of other guys who always like reply to my stories, going, "Oh, you're looking great, man," or like, "I'd love for you to dominate me" and stuff like that.
Jesus.
And I'm like, "Here's my OnlyFans."
Wow. Is it only ever dudes?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at least they're the ones that are probably going to pay for it. Chicks aren't going to pay for it, right?
Probably not.
No. You've got the demographic really.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have?
And I don't discriminate. So if it's like, if you want to look at me, then you pay for it.
Why not?
Yeah.
Do you have many subscribers?
Nah.
Nah.
I don't advertise that much for it.
Yeah, but you're getting something from it.
Yeah.
That's all that matters, right?
I mean, I've made like $2,000 since I started it.
$2,000.
Yeah. So
Jesus.
not heaps, but it's like, it's $2,000 I didn't have.
Yeah. I mean, it's, wow, okay. Obviously, I had this conversation with Jamie, right? Because Jamie had done it as well. And it's like there's a full muscle worship thing happening, right?
Yeah.
Is it always that when people are like saying things or they want things? Is it always to do with how big you are?
Yeah.
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 Have you ever had any weird requests like that people want you to like pick them up or throw them?
Nah, not yet, which I'm glad because I'm not really keen on that.
You're not really keen on touching anyone?
Nah, I mean, unless it's, 4 digits.
Okay, so that's anyone listening.
Yeah.
4 digits is what they need. Yeah, okay. All right. But as in 4 digits as in like 1,000?
Yeah. As a minimum.
As a minimum. That's not even that much.
Hey, it's $1,000.
No, it's good. But I mean, like, if someone wants to be
Yeah,
thrown,
but it also depends on what they're asking.
okay.
Like the minimum bid is that.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, no, sorry. I had someone ask, like, oh, you should do massages. And I'm like, I don't really want to do massages. Like, no, let them massage you. I'm like, is that what?
That might be a thing.
Maybe.
You know,
Again, starting bid, $1,000.
you could do like 1,000-pound squat and then sell your jocks from the 1,000-pound squat. Like that's I'm just saying, if you ever want ideas, we could spitball some stuff.
Hey, it's not a bad idea.
You know what I mean?
Someone will buy it.
Someone would definitely buy them. You know what I mean?
Hey, do you want my stocks for my 900-pound deadlift?
I feel like they would definitely be keen on that. Even if you just put a mop under the head sweat on your 240 bench, they'd probably be fine with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People pay for some weird stuff. I've had some conversations with Jamie that I did not know I would ever hear from someone. So I think you're on your way. But I had to mention it because do you get a lot of bad backlash from it? I have seen
not personally.
the anonymous stuff though. Sometimes people asking
specifically
questions.
anonymously. People love to be anonymous about this sort of stuff.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, it's like just if you want to say something, just tell me. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, like why be anonymous?
It's
like
a good point.
if you've got beef, then cool. I like beef. Beef is good for you.
Do you think Arnie would support the OnlyFans?
100%.
100%?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He cherishes that.
I even
handshake.
messaged him like, "Hey, bro, do you mind?" And he's like, "Yeah, go for it, Dylan."
He was the one that messaged you,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
I thought so. Yeah, I mean, look, we're in a different time, but I think it's interesting to get a perspective from a guy doing it because obviously it's a lot more common for females to do it. So for yourself, I hope you for the success for you, man, because that's probably going to buy you a lot of soft suits and knee wraps. Even if maybe they just buy them for you, you could like make an exchange thing.
Yeah.
That's I have to say, $2,000 is not what I expected. That's a lot. I would also like to know, do you coach a lot of people?
I got 15 clients at the moment.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's pretty steady. I'm happy with that at the moment. But like I'm always looking for more clients to bring on board, especially if they're serious about lifting. Because the last thing I want is someone going, "Oh yeah, no, yeah, I'm keen to do this," and then do one plan, then bugger off. So it's like if you're serious, I'll take it seriously as well and get you the results you want.
And you still because you still work, don't you, full time?
Yeah.
So your plan would eventually be to come away from that, coach full time?
Yes and no. I mean, I like what I do for a full-time job. It gives me a routine. I like where I work because I work in a freezer. So being my size, I'm sweating ass right now. So being in a freezer is really nice all day.
We do have an aircon in here, but no, don't press it, Maggie. This is for the fans because we're going to get some good sweatshots.
I might sell this shirt later on. Who knows? $50.
$200 for Dylan's jocks from this podcast.
Who says I'm wearing any?
Now I'm sweating.
Yeah.
Okay. All
I have
right.
this chair that's covered in sweat.
Please don't move. The chair's barely hanging on.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm supporting on this one as well.
You need 2 chairs. Oh my God, I lost my train of thought. So yeah, because you're in like a forklift and stuff sometimes, right?
Yeah.
I remember you saying this last time. Is it a regular size forklift?
So it's called a high reach forklift.
Yeah.
So it can go up to 15 meters high and boom out, I think 4 meters. So it's a pretty big thing. And I can stand up and sit in it. So it's quite decent.
Okay. Because I pictured a regular size. I'm like, you must look massive in this thing.
Yeah, we do have regulars, like the regular counterbalance forklift. And every time in those, I have a small bump, bang, head straight into the cage. And it's not for me.
So you'd look like, when kids have those little red cars and you sit in it as an adult, you'd look like me sitting in that kind of. Yeah, I get you. So I have to say that wanting to obviously continue working your job is not something I would have expected. A lot of people obviously want to get away from that because they're like, oh, I'll have less fatigue and then I can powerlift better or whatever.
Yeah.
But you also keep everything pretty conventional with your training. Everything seems to be pretty simple for you in the sense that you're just like, nah, do this, do that.
Yeah.
Equipment. People are pedantic about it as powerlifters, right? This bar, that bar, these wraps, these sleeves. I've seen you talk about sleeves before and just saying which ones you prefer.
Yeah.
What about bars? Do you have preferences in how, what you squat with, what you deadlift with?
Not necessarily, but if you know what you're going to be using at the comp, then try to train with that as often as you can. And then switch up if you need to. Like Pro Raw, I believe they use the Goliath bar for squats and then Texas bar for deadlifts and then just a power bar for bench. So if you can get a hold of those in your 10-week prep or 10 weeks out or whatever, then you've got 10 sessions on each lift with those bars, then that's going to help massively than just doing one here and there. So try to keep it as consistent as possible. Like train the way you compete.
Do you have preferences though? Do you prefer deadlifting on certain bars?
Not deadlifting. I don't really care too much for the deadlift because once the bar's kind of off the ground, it's all the same. Whether it be a straight power bar or a kabuki bar, once the weight's off the ground, it's kind of just the same, especially when you're 9 feet tall. But with a squat, I prefer Goliath because they're a little bit narrower and a little bit thicker than a Texas bar or other bars. I'm not really too familiar with the other bars. So Goliath is probably where I'm at.
So you don't have any interest in the kabuki bar, like trying a bar with more whip in it?
I mean, I would definitely because everyone seems to be lifting more on them. So like, who doesn't want to lift more? But if there's not a comp that's going to have it, then I don't see the point.
So what I'm really getting at is if there was an opportunity for you to train on an Achievement Apex bar and it was going to be in a competition because their deadlift bar has got a lot of whip in it,
right?
Would you be interested in doing that?
Sure.
Brendan, tag this part of the podcast and I want you to make sure you sort this out. All right, I'm giving him a direct shout out. Dylan wants to pull on the bar, 412.5 for a PB. I want to see it happen.
It's done.
Maybe even 1,000 pounds. You might even just pull 1,000 on it straight away.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
I reckon if anyone can do it, it's you.
I'll give it a crack.
I reckon, let's do it. But you've said that the tweak's in your back at the moment.
Yeah, thoracic.
So okay.
So it's upper back.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet. So you can wreck your lower back, right?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, sweet.
Who needs one of those?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like yours, especially with the way you deadlift, you pretty much just lean over and pick it up, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
You don't really...
I mean, I try real hard to crank my back and get it straight as possible, but it's just too much for me in the way.
There would be. For you, unless you'd essentially just need your arms to be longer. For the position that you get in, you can't really be that upright.
No.
Yeah. And so in terms of where you want to improve, obviously the squat is, so your best numbers are on the platform, aren't they?
Yeah. Which is where it should be if you're a competitive powerlifter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agreed with that, but I also heavily talk about how I love it when people max out in the gym. So
the thing is as well though, like if you can hit your like a new max, or sorry, if you can beat your PB in the gym, go for it. That's fine. But if it's a genuine RPE 10 1 rep max, then it probably should have been done on the platform.
It's kind of a waste, right?
Yeah, like for example, so between Pro Raw 10 and Pro Raw 11, my best score was 355. And I worked up to 410 in that prep to Pro Raw, Pro 11. But was it my 1 rep max? Absolutely not. So it's like, if you're capable of more, then do it on the platform.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what about, just a side note, do you follow Strongman at all?
Not really.
Have you been at least following the deadlift record?
Yeah.
So is it, because obviously they just had a big comp, no one pulled it.
Yeah.
Even though deadlifting isn't like your lift, obviously you're more of a squatter. Who do you think's gonna, or who do you place as like the king of the deadlift at the moment, in your opinion? Besides, obviously, I know Thor's kind of pulled the most.
Yeah, that's a bit of a grey area, that one though.
It's a hard one.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Thor's?
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome that you think that. Tell me why.
Because even as Eddie said, wasn't done in a proper comp with other people. I mean, it's literally just having your mate who's a judge in your gym with you. But yeah, the weights were all the same. Cool. But was it done in an official competition? Not really. So technically, yes, he still pulled more and the most ever, but it's that sort of like, is it really the best?
I agree. I just feel like we need to have the same rules for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's like, how many other guys had the same opportunity to do that? Because I'm sure if other lifters had their own gyms and their own, refs, they would have given it a crack.
Yeah.
But I mean, Thor had the money, had the mates, then why not? And that's no discredit to him whatsoever. I mean, like he still did it. But it's like, should it be official? Probably not.
Yeah. There's something like 500 sounds so beautiful as well. 501 just always annoyed me. It makes sense. It's a record. I get it, but I don't like the number.
Yeah.
And
505 sounds pretty cool because it's just, it's an even number past 500.
It does. Yeah. I like it too.
Yeah.
I know Jamal just tried 410. 510.
Yeah.
In the gym.
I saw that. Yeah.
Sumo, and it's got straps. So it's like.
Yeah, but the thing is, his sumo is not bad.
I love it.
It's a good looking sumo. It's like an Ed Cullen sumo.
Yeah, closer.
Yeah.
Uses like
it's like a hybrid sort of stance or whatnot, whatever you want to call it.
I think people used to call Ed's like a frog stance. His was even closer.
Yeah.
But Jamal's ability to wedge is like insane. Yeah. Like the way he gets the whip out of the bar is crazy.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you use that to your advantage?
Not at all.
No.
No. I just kind of grab bar, pull.
I mean, it seems to be, if you can pull over 400, you're pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, man, I am very excited to see what's going to happen in the future. 1,200 is a very nice round number. If you do 1197.5, I will be so disappointed.
I'll probably jump off a building.
Fuck, can you imagine the damage you'd do when you landed? Jesus. Let's hope it's a building where no one's around.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel, because Dan's currently 1187.5.
82.
82, sorry.
Yeah.
So, I think when we talked, you said squat 500, bench 272.5, and deadlift, what did you use the number? To round up to 1,200 when we were talking about it. If ideally you said those numbers would be, because it would have to be whatever's remaining.
I was actually talking about this the other night.
Maybe you said 275 for bench. Because you were saying what your ideals numbers
I
would
think
be.
more realistically, I could probably go, like, my bench is just garbage. I think more realistically, I'm looking at a 510 squat, a 260 bench, and a 425 deadlift. Whatever that equals, I think that's more realistic. Obviously, that's not going to be soon, but it's a goal. And I say if you're going to have goals, aim high, because if you fall short, you're still going to get pretty damn close.
Well, that does sound more realistic, though, as well. And it would be sick, because then you would also break I guess you're not breaking the all-time squat record, but you would in a three. Or it was Vlad's in a 3 lift.
No, it was like a team event type thing. So someone squatted, someone benched, someone deadlifted, and he just went to 525.
But Dan's done 505 since.
Yeah, which is the 3 lift.
Yeah, so even if you did 507, that you would then have the squat record too.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That'd be pretty sick.
Yeah, I like the idea of that too.
Yeah.
Okay, and so talk us through the idea behind the next 6 to 9 months, even though people don't see it as exciting stuff. What kind of rehab are you doing?
Well, the thing is, it's like the injury that I've got isn't really an injury. Like, it's nothing's come from a scan. It's kind of just something that kind of just came to over time rather than just popped up after one session. But I've spoken to a few specialists here and there, and they've just said I got a weak thoracic spine. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
If you got a weak thoracic spine, the rest of us are fucked.
But yeah, so just like it's very painful to deadlift over a certain weight, and very painful to low bar squat, which is weird because high bar squat is no issue whatsoever. So it's working on there's something going on in that mid thoracic where it's just not happy. So I'm just strengthening it as best as I can with the rehab movements I'm being given. Once that's sorted, then I can look at getting strong and then look towards the comp.
Do you use growth hormone? No? Growth hormone?
Yeah, but I don't seem that things to help.
But you've used it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And you use it regularly?
Yeah. Like, it's good, but it's not great.
I feel like it would be sick. It looks like it's awesome. Is it not awesome?
It's good, but it's not great.
Oh, man. Why is it so expensive then?
Yeah, no shit.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when you're in a position like this, do you bring down what you're running? Do you just generally go like testing something else? Or?
Well, at the moment, I'm actually doing a bench peak because my bench is feeling really good. So I'm like, fuck it, why not? So at the moment, I'm on a cycle at the moment. And just next 10 weeks, see how much I can bench. Hopefully get a PB. Might even do it at a push-pull or something.
Just trying to affect your sleep or anything? No.
I really got lucky when it comes to that.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you're killing it.
Yeah.
That's really what it's all about. Well, we have to do a quick fire round before you go because I only just remembered. If you're going to die, let's hope that's not going to happen. But if you are going to, and for some reason in that moment they're like, you can eat one more thing before you die.
Eat one more thing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you've said you're not a huge food guy, but what are you going to eat?
Lasagna. I don't even have to think about that. It's got to be homemade the night before. It's got to cool down, then you reheat it in the oven the next day, and it's perfectly it's not slushy. It's just together. It's beautiful.
That's so specific.
Yeah, I've thought about this before.
It's the funniest big guy food ever as well because it's just got everything in it.
Yeah,
it's like pizza. Just every macro. Okay. We talked about music a lot.
Yeah.
You're into heavy shit. I'm into heavy shit. Yeah. I find it frustrating when people aren't. And I'm like, oh, what do you like? And they're like, I really love like Huey Lewis and the News. Like they're great, but I'm like, what do you want to live to? And they're like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I get like frustrated. I'm like, man, like sometimes I can't. I just want no one to be in the gym sometimes when I'm in there, and I just want to crank whatever I want to listen to because people don't normally like it. What's like your PR song?
So for squats and bench, I don't really mind too much as long as it's heavy and got a good beat to it, because I'm trying to be specific in my movement and make sure my technique is right. Because you got to focus on the down and then the up. But when it comes to deadlifts, you can just rage out and just pull thing off floor. But BFG Division from the Doom soundtrack, from the 2016 Doom, is just beautiful.
Was that on the same one as Rip and Tear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But BFG Division is just epic. You'll see it on like most of my heavy deads in the gym. I've got it on.
I need to check that out.
It's insane.
I'll listen to it.
If you don't PR, then there's something wrong.
Yeah, it's you. It's not the song.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm with that. What about just band, like all-time metal band? If someone was like, "Hey, man, I want to listen to metal," what's the band you would recommend?
I wouldn't say anything because I don't really listen to bands specifically. I just kind of like songs that just trickle through from like, people I follow on TikTok or whatever. So, but I mean, my favorite album of all time is Step Eternal by Bring Me the Horizon, 2013. Just the whole song goes hard. The whole track goes hard.
Are you equally upset about what the fuck they're doing now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you didn't love the song where they're cheering?
No. I mean, their Parasite Eve album, which is like 5 songs or whatever, that was pretty good. Like that one. Whatever they're doing now, I'm just like, cool.
Kind of like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Let's not even talk about Ammo.
I didn't mind it because like if you're not feeling heavy, but you want to get in your feels a bit, not bad. But like,
I disagree strongly there. That's that's Dylan has an emotional side. That's good to know.
That's the thing. I mean, if you're not human, if you don't have the full spectrum of emotions.
You're not wrong. But at the same time, if you do enough drugs, you don't feel anything. So
Fair.
Yeah. So when you're peaking, no ammo. When you're at the peak, there's no ammo playing. It's just heavy Doom soundtrack.
That's it.
What about movies? You seem like the kind of guy who knows how to sit the fuck down. You know what I mean? Yeah. So do you like to sit down and watch movies?
Absolutely.
Give us one. Throw one at me.
Interstellar.
Boom. That's like finally a good answer.
Yeah.
I've heard Lord of the Rings 1,000 times. They're great movies, but Interstellar.
The thing is though, with Lord of the Rings, fantastic trilogy, I love it to death. You have to watch the extended edition and you have to watch all movies back to back to back. Otherwise, what's the point?
Can we agree the Hobbit shit?
Yep.
Man, this is going so well.
I mean, I'd probably rather read the book than watch the movies again.
I'd rather do neither of those things, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. Now, Interstellar's good, fantastic movie. It's hard because
if you understand space and physics a little bit, then you'd understand how good Interstellar is.
Oh, we didn't even get into this. We have to go to the next question. Okay, moon landing. Did it happen?
Yes.
100%.
100%.
Back when they said it happened?
Yeah.
Love it.
And there's been, I think there were 3 astronauts that went on to the first one. 2 of them landed. 1 was just orbiting. But since then, there was like 24 other astronauts that landed on the moon. So as if they're going to be like, oh, no, this was it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there's always argument of like, oh, but why haven't we been since? It's fucking expensive. And why? We can't do anything up there. We can't take anything from it and bring it back. So there's no point.
That's true.
And then when all the budget from the American government is put into the military, it's like, okay, what for? Why? But why not, do some space exploration?
I would love to see some shit out there for sure.
Oh, for sure.
That would be sick. Do you think... What's your theories on aliens? Everyone's like, some people think they're just too smart and they can't be fucked with us. Some people just think they're too far away for us to see them. Do you think they've ever visited us or anything? Nah?
Doubt it.
I doubt it too.
But at the same time, is there aliens or other life? Absolutely. You can't have 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe and there not be something out there. But at the same time as well, like, could there be someone like within our reach? Maybe. It's like you and I looking at an anthill and going, huh, and then just going, don't care. That's how we could be perceived to them. So they're just like fucking useless.
Yeah, some people also make the argument that they're not even in physical form. Like they're like just like it could be aliens, but maybe it's just like bacteria or something. Like the aliens aren't like Scary Movie 3 aliens.
Yeah,
I doubt there's any aliens pissing out their fingers.
Some xenomorph or something rocking around.
I fucking hope they're not like that. That is terrifying.
Yeah.
That is really not my. I'm not a fan of that shit at all. I do not want that. Interstellar was cool. I'd almost love to see a movie on that scale, exploring if aliens existed.
Yeah,
because I feel like we don't get a lot of alien movies with that. I just can't even believe how incredible that movie looked.
Yeah.
If we had some aliens in on that, that would have been even better.
Well, have you seen the movie Arrival?
I have not.
It's like aliens invade, but they're friendly, and they kind of teach you about the higher dimension of communication, like the 4th dimensional beings.
Is it Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the one where they're like passing notes.
Yeah.
I need to watch that.
It's a bit of a mind fuck, but you got to watch it 2 or 3 times to really understand it. And when you do understand it, it's like, wow.
Oh yeah, I love mind fucking. That's good. Yeah, okay. What would you put out there like in terms of like a television show? Then you watch anything regularly?
Not regularly. Actually, no. I just finished Better Call Saul.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I watched Breaking Bad, but I just couldn't bring myself to watch like the least interesting character. But apparently it's good.
it's very good.
Really?
Very much worth the watch.
Okay.
Is it better than Breaking Bad? Probably not.
No.
But still very much worth watching.
Okay. All right. That's maybe I'll give it a go. Yeah, it's hard. Like you know what it is. It's like when it's intimidating. It's like 6 seasons and you're like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like you're like, oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Something's 1 or 2 seasons. I'm like, I can get around that.
Yeah, of
But
course.
also Netflix is just like you go on there and it's just like a bukkake of just I don't know why I use that word, but it's of just TV shows.
Yeah.
So, okay, if you could train with anyone for a day, who would it be?
Oh, geez, that's a good question that I've never thought of.
Boom, you're on the spot. Let's go.
Don't
say Arnold. Everyone says Arnold.
Nah. Met him once, he's cool.
Oh, he seems like a cool guy, but like, I don't know. Do you want to train with him?
Actually, no, maybe Lou Ferrigno back in his day. Because he's 6'5", pretty big dude like myself. So I think that'd be pretty cool.
Do you reckon you'd want his dad there yelling at him as well? Would that be part of the experience?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
you have to.
Yeah.
Or actually, even Dorian Yates' training partner. If you watch some of his old clips from like the '92 Olympia where he's training and his training partner yell at him.
Yeah,
it's insane.
What's it? He did like a documentary like movie thing, maybe it's just called Blood and Sweat or something like that, and it's just like an hour of that shit.
Yeah,
and he's like incline pressing like 4 plates for like fucking 10, and you're like, Jesus Christ. What about if you could only do 2 exercises in terms of accessories, not we can't say squat or bench, like or deadlift. It just had to be like an accessory exercise, and you could only do 2 of them forever. Out of enjoyment.
Out of enjoyment.
Yeah, don't choose like biomechanical, like to keep myself balanced. Fuck that noise. I want to hear like what you like doing.
Shit, what do I like doing? Probably barbell rows.
Okay.
Yeah, but no straps because feed your ego a bit. And fuck, I hate biceps of all kinds, so they're scrapped.
Why are they so big? It's natural.
Just hopes and prayers.
Yeah.
Probably hamstring curls.
How would you like to do them?
Lying.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
People would almost always say seated. But I think it's because it's like there's not a machine on earth you can fit in. What about putting a dumbbell between your legs and sitting on a bench? You never do them like that?
Hang on. Is that the one you put them in your feet and you do them a curl like that? Yeah, I've done them twice and cramped hard both times.
Have you ever found an exercise more inconvenient than doing them that way?
Yeah, it's the whole overcomplicating it.
Oh, it's horrible. You know when someone's like, you don't need a machine, and you're like, well, that's better though.
Like this case I do.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like the last one to finally ask is, we talked about who you train with or whatever. I always put this out there and I always get the same answer from powerlifters, so don't say it because you're already really strong. But if you could have an ability, like a superpower, what would it be?
Probably not get injured. Like some sort of...
That's such a powerlifter answer.
Yeah, but it's like... But think on a bigger scale as well, if there's some arsehole just driving their car like an idiot, just get out and smash them or whatever. Like the car. Fuck your car. Not be hurt by it.
Yeah. That seems like a strange motivation to
Yeah.
have, but I like it still.
Yeah.
I just want to be in the car behind that and see you just fucking a car up.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious. Okay.
But like, it's a typical powerlifter answer of like not getting injured. But like also super strength would be cool as well. Typical powerlifter.
You don't want to be able to like fly or read minds?
I hate heights, so absolutely not. And I hate people, so I don't know what they think about.
Okay. All right. Well, that's an interesting answer. Well, look, man, thank you very much for coming and having a chat today.
No problem.
We will do it again
another 100 episodes from now.
Yeah, another 100 episodes. I feel like we'll just 213. We'll be back here. I would like to say I didn't mention it before, but there's a meal replacement bar on the table if you would like to take one when you go, because absolutely. It sounds like you need one.
Yeah.
And look, man, thank you for coming on. Is there anyone you would like to shout out before you go?
No.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's the best answer. Awesome. I love that you wouldn't. Me, I'm going to shout out Achievement Apex, Power Pit Rockingham, Maggie on the camera because she's doing a great job. Or actually, I haven't seen it yet. It could be horrible, but I believe it would be amazing.
I'll probably cut it from the nose down.
Yeah. Your camera's not even on. And I will give a shout out to the hen house where we are right now. And as always, a shout out to my mother. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.